Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Bobby. I hope you had a great weekend. All is wonderful here at the club at Horseshoe Bay. It's a beautiful day, and there's golfers everywhere, so I'm excited about it, and I hope you are too. I want to get into today's lesson and ask you this first. How would you like to hit the ball farther? More specifically, how would you like to make a better shoulder turn, one that sets the stage for a power-producing whip into impact initiated by the lower half? Well, I bet you can do it, and even if you feel like you've lost the flexibility to make a full 90-degree shoulder turn, as every student of the game knows you should, I bet you can. I bet you that you are remiss in some other way, which I will outline now. And this is an easily solved issue if you find it to be yours. This lesson takes me back about 20 years when I had the occasion to meet this fellow at a driving range up in the Pacific Northwest who was a trick shot artist. And of course I got real excited. Hey, let me see some of your tricks. And he would demonstrate some of them. And of course right away I would try to perform them as well. And some of them were kind of simple, actually. Once they looked hard, but once you sort of knew what you were doing, you could perform them. And in fact, there was a couple that I could do right away, and I bet you could too. And one involved looking straight ahead at the person you're talking to, keeping your gaze lifted the entire time, and then hitting a golf ball. After 5 or 6 tries, I could hit the golf ball while looking over there, and as I say, I bet you can too. The one that was surprisingly easy was where you sort of did the same thing, except instead of looking straight ahead, you looked down the line behind you, kept your eyes there throughout the entire swing, and then just simply made your golf swing. It took me no time at all to be able to hit a golf ball doing that. And why? Well, because I had complete freedom. My head was out of the way. I could make a great big shoulder turn. And not only could I turn 90 degrees, I felt like I could have turned 130 degrees. So I said, hey, Tommy, I got a great idea. You can put this in your repertoire. Why don't you do it where you're looking that way the whole time? He said, oh, let me see you try that, Bobby. And I went, well, it's impossible. He said, yeah, that's not a viable option in terms of trick shot, because all you can do is flip it with your wrist. You can't turn it all. And that provided evidence, at least to my satisfaction, that your head position has a whole lot to do with whether you can turn or not. And so working within smaller margins, I have found that when someone comes to me and says, hey, Bobby, I'd like to be able to turn. I just can't anymore. I can't turn 90 degrees. I'm not flexible anymore. And I say, well, great, Mr. Smith, hit this ball for me. And invariably, I'll see this. Their head is positioned somewhere left of that golf ball. And I'm guessing in many cases it's because this person is right eye dominant and wants to set up with their better eye over this thing. And in doing so, they position their head so that it is now an obstruction, so that the backswing can't carry on unencumbered, unobstructed. And so the first lesson for any person who says, I can't turn 90 degrees, and maybe you're right, you can't from that position, is to get in a position where you can. And that means somewhere right in the middle to start with, or if you want to go a step further and take a page out of Jack Nicklaus's book, doing as he did, and actually taking his chin just before he took the backswing and swiveling it. Now, let me be clear about that. He didn't point his nose back here over his right foot. He took his chin and swiveled it. As he did that, it's almost like his left ear dropped a little bit. Why? So he could get his chin out of the way of his shoulder so that he could swing unobstructed. And in most cases, ladies and gentlemen, in most cases, that is the issue. It's not that you don't have the flexibility. It's you're just in a position where you simply cannot do it because your head is in the way. And so as we set up over this golf ball, we want to make sure that our head is pointed either straight ahead or our chin is slightly back. Make a backswing, and you're going to find right away that you can make a much bigger turn than previously, particularly if you were one of these people who were lined up a little bit on the left side. It's a very important lesson, and one that I hope resonates and sticks with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week.